Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, Billy man shit, nigga. They turn their head over, nigga. I read what Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, oh they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact the fear. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So time war, we gonna run the summer. It's gonna be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but their question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit like it ain't on who got this gun, it's on who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feet, you will never get that hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow sign, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Trap exempt.
Dear Lord, I hope you hear my prayers. Because we really, really need you down here. From all the pain that we're going through. We know that you're real, so can you fall through? Father, have mercy when we call on you.
How far you say you?
About 5 minutes. Waiting and to play with. I raise my children up to say the same shit. Dear Lord, I hope you hear my prayers. Because we really, really need you down here. From all the pain that we going through. We know that you're real, so can you fall through? Father, have mercy when we call on you. But I just wanna fall on you. To show the devils you ain't nothing to play with. I raise my children up to say the same shit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Come on, West.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Look, I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat, man. This shit is too easy. I'm on go, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, 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 VG. Hear them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. Mama grind, bitch, and working. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. Them niggas weak, cause they be churching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. If he cross the line, I'ma back up and I'ma hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas, we eat. I'm in this bitch with the itis. Say, all y'all do the street. Tell y'all to do the street. The nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the league. He ain't one of us hit the league. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch, I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, bitch, I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Gullah Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we tanks. We form up in ranks. We buy the bag, this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother wave. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. Ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Go ahead. Big gangster. Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now, all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call to be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on the life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not knowing the Lord to kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cooked up with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had your life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh. Even though we did the wrong thing, my life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs cut.
Test 1 2 1 2. Most High in Christ. So like you bear with me just a moment. Just make sure this audio is working. Swab. Just a moment. Okay, good to go. All right, Most High in Christ. All right, Shalom. Yahweh Shemel Shah Barakathum to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathun Bahashemel Shah to all the sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yahana. You understand? Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible, that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible, the true Israelites. You understand? And this is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. I'm priest and officer of 1,000 Thabawan, holding it down for my brother, Officer Yaramak, until he arrives. He should be here very shortly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just holding it down for the brother. All right. Of course, this is the Brotherhood class. This is a very important class. You know what I'm saying? All of the classes are important, as we always say. But this particular class has, it just has a very profound importance into our daily lives as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. In America today, it is commonplace as black people to, without irony, to hate each other. It's commonplace as Hispanics and Native Indians to hate each other and to love everyone else, to give all of our love, all of our devotion, all of our energy, you know what I'm saying? Everything we have, we give to the other nations, but for each other, we reserve nothing but hatred and unkindness. You understand? And so this class, this Brotherhood class, is all about, and Brotherhood is synonymous with sisterhood. This class is all about reminding our people how not only is it just, important, it is absolutely godly to love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? To be kind to another black man, Hispanic or Native Indian man or woman, just because they're black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, that right there is a holy thing. What does the word holy mean? Holy comes from the Hebrew word kodash. It just means set apart. Okay, it doesn't mean how well you play tambourines or drums in church. That's not what holy means. Holy means separate or set apart. It is a set apart thing. You understand? It is a special thing. You understand? And speaking of that, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Let's start there. You know what I'm saying? Again, my brother's going to come in and really expound on brotherhood. But before we do that, I want to talk about I want to show why it's so important to love, like, to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, when it comes to the Most High. So we're gonna go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. Since you got a Most High in Christ, sister came prepared. The water. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. So again, what does that mean? What does it mean to be a holy people? Again, because everybody has that word holy in their mind means something totally different. So what does holy mean contextually here? What does it mean to be a holy people? How can you be a holy people? Right? Can everybody be a holy people? Is this talking about everybody? Is this talking about every single human being on earth is a holy people? Or is it specific? You understand? That's what we got to figure out. It says, for thou art an holy people. So thou is what? Thou is a what? Thou is a pronoun, right? Talking to a specific person or group of people. But thou art an holy people. And to know who it's talking about, we can easily just go back to one of the other chapters. Well, the whole book of Deuteronomy is talking to the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4, hear, O Israel. Okay? Hear, O Israel, is what it says in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. And verse 3, hear, therefore, O Israel. In verse 3. Okay? Verse 15, for the Lord thy God is a jealous God. So it's thy is a possessive pronoun. So whose God is it talking about here? Is it talking about everybody's God? Is it talking about, it can't be talking about the Greeks' God, because the Greeks' God is who? Zeus, Kronos. You know what I'm saying? It can't be talking about the God of the East Indians, because the God of this East Indians is who? Shiva. Can't be talking about the God of the Chinese and the Japanese, because their God is who? Buddha. You understand? So it's talking about one specific group of people. It's talking about the Israelites, right? So back to verse 6. For thou, chapter 7 and verse 6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Somebody give me a nice word to describe what is being said here. It's when I say nice, I'm being facetious. It's a harsh word in America's mind. You know, if you tell somebody this, they're gonna, you know, scream bloody murder. If you tell somebody what we're getting to here, what is this describing? What does it sound like it's describing? It's a word that, you know, gets thrown around a lot today, but you would never associate God with this. But it just said, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God." Of course, we know the word God, right? Coming from the Hebrew word Elohim, just means power. Right? That's what God means. God is not the Lord, the Most High's name, right? It just means power. Okay? He's our power, right? But it says, the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Somebody tell me what that sounds like. What is that? What's being said here, for time's sake, I might have to give it to you. I don't think anybody commented online. That's no sweat. But you know what it sounds like? It sounds like somebody's racist. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like God is describing himself as what would be called today a racist. Is it not? Let's look at the definition of racist. Let's see. Maybe I'm just, you know, up here just talking crazy. You know, I'm in some insane Hebrew Israelite cult, right? I'm just talking nonsense. What I say can't possibly have any volition. Here we go. Let's see. Having, reflecting, or fostering the belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Right? So a racist is someone who believes that one race can be superior over another race. But God said, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. It doesn't say equal to, it doesn't say close to, it doesn't say matching with. It says above all people. So if one people is above all the other people, then that race of people is superior. You understand? This Bible is all about 100% Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian superiority. Shalaki. Hey, shalom. I emailed. No. I sent you an email. Okay. The Maya Shaw with the messed up the howler. Okay. And when you pop up, I'll let you in. I'm gonna hold it down until your mom get back. That's why you just read for me. Okay. Shalom, Chris. You understand? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So how dare any Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian take it upon themselves to hate that which God loves? If God said that Black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indians, who are the true Jews, the true Israelites, according to the Bible, if he said they're better than everybody else, then why don't we treat each other like that? Why don't black women look at other black women as their sisters, as their family, when that's what we are? Let me get another precept that proves it too. I'm not just gonna say it. I'm not just gonna say it. I'm gonna go with a precept that goes right with this to prove what I just said. Hold on. Bear with me just a second. Some more God is racist precepts. We're gonna go to the book of Amos. Amos chapter 3 and verse 2. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 2. You own, I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna start at verse 1. So again, they can't say that I'm not telling the truth about who the scripture is talking about. Right? The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel. So who's God talking to? Talking to the children of Israel, right? He said it. He said, this is what I'm saying to you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt. So all the people he brought up out of Egypt, all those Israelites are a family. Now let's read verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. I mean, does it get any more plain than that? You only have I known of all the families. So when someone comes to me and tells me, "Oh, I'm preaching hate, and and God loves everybody," I simply say, "Well, where'd you read that? Where does the Bible say that?" Hold on one second. What's going on? Salaki. Right? So you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. You understand? So the Lord said he doesn't even know the other nations. What is he saying by that? It's like you ever know somebody, but you don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have a relationship with them. That's what he's essentially saying. It's like, yeah, like I know you. You know what I'm saying? You might have a friend who has a friend, right? And they might bring that other friend around, and you may even know that other friend's name. You know what I'm saying? You might have even hung out with that friend a couple times, but that's not your friend just because it's your friend's friend. No, it's like, I know you. I don't know them. So the Lord is saying, you only have I known of all the families. You understand? Of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities, right? And that's important too, because the Lord is saying what? He's saying the same thing a father might say to his son. When a son gets in trouble, right? Him and all his friends do something real silly, right? What's the first thing that a son or a daughter says, right? What do they say? Like, right? If everybody, they do something, they shouldn't have been doing. They cut class together, whatever. What does the child say? They say they're sorry, but like, what's their excuse? What is usually their excuse that comes to their mind that they think is supposed to absolve them? Like, yeah, but okay, that's a good one. Children do say that, but that's not the one, right? But that's good. No, one thing they'll say is, but so-and-so did it, right? But everybody does it. But everybody was doing it. It wasn't just me. It was, and a good parent says what? What does a good parent say to, I know when I was coming up, I'm showing my age now, right? But they say something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, if everybody jumped off a bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge too? Whatever. They'll say something like that. Or, but more importantly, they'll say, everybody ain't my child. Everybody ain't my son. Everybody ain't my daughter. No offense, but Let their parents deal with whatever they doing. You're my child, and you know better than that. I taught you better than that. You understand? So the Most High that's exactly what the Most High is saying, because we're his children. We're his children. And he's saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Black people always looking up to the sky saying, Lord, why me? Why me? Why me? Why us? Why we got to live like this? Why our lives got to be like this? You understand? Why we got to catch hell for this and that and so on and so forth. You understand? This is the reason. This scripture is explaining why, black man, you can't sell drugs. You can't sell drugs like the oppressor does. The oppressor sells drugs and has $1 trillion pharmaceutical company. You understand? Even though people dying every day from popping their disgusting pills, but he can get away with that. The oppressor can be gay. You understand? I mean, I wouldn't advise it right now with monkeypox running rampant all throughout the earth. I wouldn't advise that to anybody. But he goes and does that because does he lead in new cases of AIDS and HIV? No. Black people do. Oppressor, the so-called white women, they go in there, lesbians and things like that. Do they get the same effect as black women when black women go and live that lifestyle? Nope. Whenever we sin against the Most High, we are going to get punished for it. That's why we're in the ghettos right now. That's why we're in the barrios right now. That's why we're on the reservations right now. Because we continue to sin against the Most High. And one of those sins is not loving our brothers and sisters, not loving so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Okay, so bear with me just a moment. We'll get some more precepts rolling. Just a second. Also, let me remind everybody, if there are any questions, if anybody has any questions, you can, if you're online, just go ahead and type it in the chat. If you're in the room, just raise your hand. You know what I'm saying? And I'll if I can answer your question, that's exactly what I'll do. You know what I'm saying? If not, you know what I'm saying, we'll just write it down. You know what I'm saying? I'll have another priest come back and answer it maybe in another class, or we'll answer it next week. You know what I'm saying? Just a moment. No sweat. No, that's not the one I wanted. Can't. I'm gonna read this one more time. I gotta make a call real quick. Slack you. Can't. So there's no questions in the room. We're just gonna go ahead and keep rolling. Keep rolling with it. Let's go to we're gonna go to the book. Bear with me. That's not the one. That's the hate scripture. Nope. All right, cool. I'm gonna go to second Ezra. Let's go to second Ezra real fast. Oh no, first go to Psalm 147, Salakia. Psalm 147 first. And go to Psalm 147 and verse 19. Right? And there's another precept that I want, and I'm gonna get it in just a moment, right? I'm gonna get that precept in just a moment, but this is another one to show that the Most High, who he deals with. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 147 and verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel, right? So that's who he showed his word to. He showed his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? Who's Jacob? You know? His servant for sure, Khan, that's correct, but contextually, right? So, well, Jacob here, when he says Jacob here, he's talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, because Jacob is the progenitor or the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. So we know that Israel comes from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Jacob was the son of Isaac, and Jacob had 12 sons who all became, the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So when it says he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel, right? Verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation, right? What does that mean? He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Most High. You understand? He hath not dealt so with any nation. So he showed his word unto Jacob. What's his word? His Bible, right? He showed this. What's in this Bible? The laws, statutes, and commandments. He gave everything, right? There's another scripture in Romans, where it says, to whom pertaineth the adoption, right? And the giving of the law, right? The Most High gave the law to the Israelites. He gave everything to the Israelites. What's going on, bro? He gave the law to the Israelites. He gave his word to the Israelites. He gave the commandments to the Israelites. You understand? He gave the promises to the Israelites. That's who he gave it to. We're going to get that in a second as well. Might as well, right? But it says he hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. That's the same thing that we just read in the previous verse. That's the same thing we read in the previous verse, right? Where it says, I'm paraphrasing, where it says, therefore I will judge you. You know what I'm saying? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will judge you for your iniquities. The Most High not dealing with nobody else. He not dealing with no other nation on the face of the earth. He ain't dealing with the Chinese man. He ain't dealing with the Japanese man, the East Indian man. He ain't dealing with the Hawaiian man. He ain't dealing with the white man. He ain't dealing with none of them. He ain't dealing with the African man. He ain't dealing with Hamites. He's dealing with the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You understand? He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. That's why it seems like they can run rampant and run free. That's why it seems like no matter how much we do that's right, nothing goes right for us. Black people have been asking the same questions about how do we prosper? How do black people grow and build? We've been asking that same question for 200 years. We've been asking that question, well, not 200 years, really. Slavery ended so-called in 1865. You know what I'm saying? It'll be almost 200 years, right? But 160 years later, we still asking, how do we prosper in this place? And every time we think that we're getting somewhere, it's just proving that we're not going nowhere, man. We still the number one in unemployment. We still the number one in the new cases of AIDS and HIV. We still die from hypertension more than anybody else. We still die from diabetes more than anybody else. We still lead in incarceration, black men and black women. Female jails are, female prisons are filled with black and Hispanic women. Male prisons are filled with black and Hispanic men. You can look up the numbers. It's not even close. It's not even close. Right now, you got a bunch of people who's getting released from prison based on, new DNA evidence, things like that, right? Some cat got accused of some rape back in 1978, and they, they do a DNA testing or whatever, come to find out this brother didn't even do it. Well, if you look at the numbers, it proves that most of the people who are being released on those charges that were fake in the first place, meaning they were innocent, are what? Are black males. So it is like you can look up documented evidence. It's not made up. It's not my words. You can look up recorded, documented evidence from colleges, from law schools, and lawyers that will show, and records that will show that black men are literally, are literally falsely incarcerated more than any other race of people in America. That's just a fact. You understand? And what does that come from? That comes from the fact, you understand, that comes from the fact that we are, you know what I'm saying, we're the people that God deals with. All these curses, that's what it says in Deuteronomy, all these curses will come upon you. You understand? And that's what's going on. Just let me know when you're ready. That's what it says in the Bible. All these curses will come upon you, and they're still coming upon us right now. So what do we have to do? How do we stop that? How do we change the tide? What do we have to do? What is the thing that we need to do, you understand, to turn it all around? Because, you know, I'm not just going to sit up here and give you bad news all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. Let's get some good news. And let's see what we have to do to change it. Let's go to the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Salakia. Okay. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. That's what we have to do. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, in order for us to prosper, we have to do what? We can't try to join America more. That's what we think we got to do. We got to join America more, love America more, fight for America more, work for America more. That's not what it is. In order for us to prosper, we have to arise and depart from America. Does that mean you have to get on a plane and fly to Israel where there's dirty water in the Jordan? No. It just means you have to take what? Take your spirit out of America. That's what we continue. When we sell drugs to other black men, that's the spirit of America. When we kill other black and Hispanic men and women, that's the spirit of America. When we rape, you know what I'm saying, and rob our people, molest children, that's the spirit of America. That's what they do. You understand? And if we want to prosper, we have to arise and depart. Salaki, one last piece. Where am I at? Khan. For this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. America is polluted, man. And black men, that's why we can't prosper here, because as it was prophesied, you understand, that this place would destroy us. And that's what it's been doing. It's been doing this job for 200 years. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get up out of this mindset and change our minds and change our spirits. All right. And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Yarmak.
You said what? What's that? Yeah. And what happened? He tried to sell you a shirt. I know you lied. The same one? He came in here and tried to sell you a shirt. Man, you should have told him. You should have told him. Hold on, wait till Officer Yarmak get here. We're gonna deal with that. Hey, the water for the brother, man, for holding it down, man. You understand? Brother showing tremendous brotherhood. We got some people online, Most High in Christ. If anybody got any questions, just go ahead and type them in the chat. Top one, you know what time it is, brother. If you could send me one time. Hold on 1 second. We did have a question that was asked previously. The question that was asked was, what prophecies are in the Bible that have not been fulfilled yet, or that we have not seen? So we're gonna go into that. But before we go into that, if I could, Baba Kashab, if I get Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, whenever you get a chance to water. Anybody who has questions online, Get ready to type your questions in the chat. You two up. Any questions in the room, just raise your hand any
Count.
point in time.
Count. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
So this is the first thing that Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians got to understand.
That's right.
There is no way in hell we can even fathom the idea that our babies grow up in this world and live a normal life if not for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians coming together. You understand? There is not a fathomable way to even think that our children can live in a world that we grew up in. You understand? Like the world that we grew up in is terrible. Our family structure is terrible. The way that we love each other is terrible. So how could we ever think that by living the exact same way that we was raised is going to be different for our children? It's not. And so what we have to understand is like what the brother was saying, that we have to separate from America, because the way that America teaches and the way that America raises us in this place, it raises us to be the leading in abortion. It raises us to be leading and drug the condition with drugs. It leads us to be leading in gang violence and black on black crime. And that is the condition that we put ourselves in by listening and following after the ways of America, when the Bible, which most Americans follow the Bible. I don't. I think I got one in my car. You got one? Yeah, hold on 1 second. I think my key is on that table right there. Most Christians follow the Bible. Most Christians go to church on Sunday and they open this book and they read from this Bible, but yet most Christians still take that and they go and they follow after our oppressor or follow after Christianity, which has nothing to do with the Bible. And in following after our oppressor, we still die in the streets of America. We still die in the ghettos. We still end up poor. We still end up on drugs. We still end up falling victim to all the curses that the Lord has put on us here in America. And so at some point, we got to realize that there is something that has to change. You understand? There is something that we got to start to look at what our grandparents did. We got to start to look at what our great-grandparents did and what our aunties is doing and what our uncles did. And we got to start to realize something. What our forefathers and what our family members that came before us did, it didn't work. It didn't work. You understand? All women are still whores. Our brothers are still killing each other. We are in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. We account for 500 abortions every single year. Every single year, Salakia. Did I say that number right? 500,000 abortions every single year. And that's just Black people. Good night. What you said? What? If you add Hispanics, good night. That's not even adding Native Indians. You understand? If I could, I forgot to grab that ginger ale right there. If I could, so, you understand? And so that number is very, very, very high, man. But that is because we have been taught that following after our oppressor is okay. You understand? The way that we murder each other in the streets, the lifestyle that we live, the lifestyle that we aspire to live, it's not because you grow up and believe that, the best way you're gonna live is just, to be in a separate cup. That's too wild. The best thing you're gonna do with your life is just be the greatest murderer. Nah. None of you ever grew up that way. You grew up thinking you was gonna be a basketball player. You grew up thinking you was gonna be a doctor or a lawyer or be a football player or a track star or a boxer. But of course, because of the conditions and the circumstances that America puts on you, you have no choice but to feel like you have to join a gang. Why? Because you've been placed in a low-income community where the people around you are hunger-stricken. You understand? The people around you are hooked on drugs that our oppressor put inside the community. So what else can you do? What you gonna do? You gonna walk inside the ghettos of Cornwallis late at night without a weapon on you? You gonna go inside the ghettos of Cornwallis without friends to back you up? No, you're not. You're gonna do the same thing you do when you go where? When you go into prison. When you go into prison, how many brothers go in there not a part of a gang, but they come out a part of one? Is it because they grew up just knowing that when they turn 36 years old, they was going to join a gang, or did they get put in a circumstance? Did they get put in a condition in which now they're forced to have to choose this lifestyle? Go ahead, what you got?
Salaki, if I may, what you're saying is a heavy point, which improves that, you know what I'm saying, people who try to look at it like it's just, you know, a black thing, you know what I'm saying, a black Hispanic thing. No, because even when oppressors go into jails, they end up having to click up with white people and join some Aryan Brotherhood just so they don't get got.
Right.
So it's like you said, it's conditional, it's whatever situation you in.
Right. Everything that we do in life is about our condition and it's about our influence. There is nothing else. There is nothing else except condition and influence. All of that nonsense, especially with the LGBT community, as far as being born gay, that's not true. You understand? If you go up to Philly, what do people love to eat in Philly? You said what? The cheesesteaks. Are babies born in Philly like, cheesesteak? Nah. But at some point they grow up, and what is in Philly? Cheesesteaks. So eventually they grow up to the point of saying what? Cheesesteaks is the best. But what about the people out in Louisiana and Baton Rouge? Do they think cheesesteaks is the best? No. What do they think is the best? Gumbo. They think gumbo is what it is out there. Is it because Philly cheesesteaks are better than gumbo? No. Is New York pizza better than Chicago pizza? No. It's not. Look, see? We got right here. It's not better. You understand? And Chicago pizza is not better than New York, but it's about the influence. And so the same thing is you could correlate the same thing to how we live, the things that we do, the things that we eat, the way that you talk, the lingo that you have, the way that you dress, the way that you deal with women. Everything about your life is about an influence. The problem is who has been influencing us for 400 years? BET, MTV, whatever our oppressor decides to push for us. If our oppressor wants us to wear dresses, he'll make Young Thug wear a dress, and then you'll get on Instagram calling yourself an influencer, and then you'll put on a dress too. And then the children underneath you, they'll look at that and they'll say that it's okay. If our oppressor tells us that killing each other is okay, and that's how you make it and get money by killing each other and being a gangster rapper, is that's the way, then what will we do? What will we do? Well, you understand. You get the story. But the problem is that when are we going to start to live our life according to what God have us to do? You understand? Not according to what Christianity have us to do, because Christianity will turn a lot of strong men away from the Bible. When the Bible wasn't meant to make weak men. This Bible was meant to make strong men, which I'm gonna go into answering the brother's question right now. If I could, give me let me finish reading this one first, and then let me get Joel chapter 2.
Come on. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 2.
Also, anybody want any water or ginger ale is ready on hand. You understand?
Salaki. If I may real quick, if y'all need anything, just let me know, and I'll grab it for you. Pause. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 2. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Now, here is not a misconception. The whole world knows, or they teach of the return of Christ. You go in a Christian church and they teach it all day. Are you ready for Christ's return? Because if you not, I got some more pants. You understand, the movie Friday, right? But that's true. Christ is going to come back. But here's the problem. What Christians believe is that when Christ comes back, that it's going to be all kinds of love and all kinds of just acceptance, and everybody is just going to love and accept each other and just hold hands and kiss and candy canes and flowers and roses and all of the sweet things on earth. But here's the problem. If that was true, then what the hell is the point of Christ coming back? What the hell is the point? Can't you be gay in America freely? Yeah, but let me know if I'm mistaken. Can't you marry a man if you're a man? You're free to do so, right? Don't you have the freedom of religion? Can't you believe whatever the hell you want to believe? Let me know if I'm lying. If I want to worship the moon, do I have the right to? Okay. In America, right? No sweat. So what the hell what the hell would be the point of Christ coming back? What is he going to come back and tell me what? I just want to let you know, my son, You can worship the moon. It's okay. I still love you, you know. You can be gay. It's okay. I still love you. You can eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. I still love you. What would be the point? There wouldn't be one. Here's the thing that Christians got to understand. Christ is coming back to kill. You understand? And that's a prophecy that's in the Bible. And why would he be coming back to kill? Why does any nigga ever go out and kill? Someone wronged him. You understand? And this is such an injustice to what the Christians do to who Christ is, because they make him out to be such a weak person when Christ is not a weak person. You understand? Christ is coming back to get revenge and judgment for what they did to him. They murdered him, so it's only right that he come back with a sword, and that's in the Bible. You understand? Give me Joel chapter 2. One second. I see your question online. We get to that after this one. Just hang tight. Again, if anybody got any questions in the room, just type it in the chat. I mean, like, raise your hand. Joel chapter 2. Let's start at verse 7. This to answer the brother's question. He asked about a prophecy that's in the Bible that is going to happen that has not happened. What we're reading right now in the book of Joel chapter 2 is of course written by the prophet Joel. This has not happened. You understand? This biblical record is not something that has happened yet. A record in the Bible that has happened would be Deuteronomy or the book of Exodus, right? Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 68 says that the Israelites would go into slavery by the way of ships and cargo slave ships. That is a prophecy that has happened. We have went into slavery with cargo slave ships. This is a prophecy that has not happened, but will happen. Read what you got.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 7. They shall run like mighty men.
They shall, hold on, go back.
Sure.
Give me to let me see, what verse 4? He got. Hold on, let me get that myself. Salakia. Give me 1 second. Hey, shalom, sis. What's high crazy? Let me get to let's start at verse 6 just to be on time's sake. Now, what this prophecy is talking about is after Christ returns. When Christ returns, it's going to be World War III on earth, which is in the Bible. The Bible says that, behold, woe 1 and woe 2 has passed, but behold, woe 3 cometh quickly. And it speaks about how fire is going to rain down from the skies, and the eyeballs and the sockets will melt away, and the tongues will disintegrate from their mouth. If you ever seen the movie Terminator and that woman who was hanging on that fence, that's what is described in the Bible, because of course, when a nuclear bomb drops, the radiation, it completely burns everything of the flesh on the body, which is what the Bible talks about. Now, after World War III, after the Battle of Jehoshaphat happens, Christ is going to take up, you understand, the Israelites, the ones that is chosen, the ones that get a crown, and they will go up into the chariots. And this is where we start here, verse 6.
Come. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 6. Before their face, the people shall be much pain.
Before their face. So before the people who decided that selling drugs wasn't something that they was going to do. You understand? Who decided that being gay or eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster and celebrating Christmas wasn't going to be something that they do. This is talking about them. Before their face, you understand? Keep going.
Shall be much pain.
Shall be much pain, meaning this is something we'll see. Keep going.
All faces shall gather blackness.
All faces shall gather blackness. Why? Why is all the faces gathering blackness that we see? You understand? In this day, now remember, we watching nuclear bombs drop, just like the movies. Like our oppressor knows these records, even though he doesn't come out and tell you that the Jews are black, even though he doesn't come out and tell you that Christ is a black man. Right. He know they have scholars and they know what's in these records. Right. They know what's happening which is why they make movies about it. You understand? They make all the movies about everything that's in the Bible. They just won't tell you that it's actually true. So you'll go to a movie theater and you'll look at something, and then you'll walk out of there saying, "Oh golly, that was a great damn movie."
Right.
Meanwhile, our oppressor is getting rich off of our God's novel.
Right.
You understand? Our God created this story. But our oppressor will take the story, get rich off of you, and then have you believe that it's just a true story.
Right.
When really it's something that's going to happen, and they know it's going to happen. You understand? How do you know? Donald Trump just spent how much money on the space fleet force? Trillions? Why he build a space fleet? Which I think is the base is in Cocoa Beach. We drove past it during the Passover. The base for the space fleet is in Cocoa Beach. What the hell does he need a space fleet for? Last time I checked, we didn't see aliens come down.
Right.
It's because he knows what's in this Bible.
That's right.
He knows what's coming. You understand? The problem is that we don't. But yet, now the reason why we would see black on all of their faces is because when nuclear bombs drop, soot starts to come from the buildings, meaning the ashes. If you ever seen videos of 9/11, right? The people who was around the building in 9/11, when the towers fell, they had black gathered all over their faces, right? And there was much pain on their faces. Keep going.
Come.
Uh-huh.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
They shall run like mighty men.
They shall run like mighty men. You understand? Talking about us. Keep going.
Come. They shall climb the wall like men of war.
They shall climb the wall like men of war. Meaning the way that we live today, like, how many of y'all have ever heard of what's that damn effect? They talk about it with the Hulk all the time. Sis? No, it's not Mandela. You said what? Gamma? I don't know. It may be, but it's about I remember they was doing studies, but I remember seeing something. It was like a woman whose daughter was caught underneath a car. She was stuck. And because of something, she unlocked the muscles in her body, and she lifted the car up. But she was in a trance. Like, she didn't even know what she was doing. But because her adrenaline was pumping, it unlocked it. You understand? To the point where now she was using a higher percentage of her muscle fibers inside of her body to the point where she can move a car. That's true. You understand? Like how they say you only use 12% of your brain. That's true. You understand? The Lord has been conditioning us to be less and less, which is why when you go on the records, you'll see that Noah lived to be 900 and some years old. You'll see that these brothers lived to be 800, 700 years old, and they were strong men in these days. But yet we die and we get weak at like 70. You understand? But there will come a day where the Lord is going to bring that back. You understand? And the scriptures say that we'll live to see generations and generations, and we'll be mighty men again. You understand? And this is what this is talking about. Keep going.
Come. And they shall march every one in his ways.
And they shall march every one in his ways. Keep going.
And they shall not break their ranks.
And they shall not break their ranks. You understand? That's why when you see them, brother, how many of y'all got to see them brothers come out for Hebrew Academy this year? You understand that? You seen this? Them brothers was marching in their ways, and they did not break their ranks. You understand? That's what is supposed to be being built in this kingdom, because that's what Christ is coming back for. So when you go in a Christian church and all the singing and dancing is done, you understand? At what point do they do this? At what point do they have the rank that Christ is coming and looking for? Because this is what Joel is talking about, that Christ is going to need. Keep going.
God. Verse 8. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Keep going.
Verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
Now, I don't want to get too animated in this, right? Because of Christianity, this is something hard to believe. You know why? Because when you visualize this, what do you think of? I want to know if anybody could think of it. Because I think of it every single time.
Every time you hear
every time I hear this voice, I always think of this movie. And I'm like, what the for time's sake, I'm gonna give it to you. The Avengers. When they crack that sky open, And them whatever you call them things, right? And they started coming down, and they was doing what? They was running up the walls, and they was jumping from here to there, and they was on their chariots rolling around. Well, who does that? Where do you think they got that idea from? No sweat. Of course, in the movies, America always wins,
Right.
but not in this one. Keep going.
God, it's like verse 10.
Uh-huh.
The earth shall quake before them.
Uh-huh.
The heavens shall tremble.
Uh-huh.
The sun and the moon shall be dark.
Uh-huh.
And the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Meaning it's going to be a dark and gloomy day. Keep going.
Verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army.
Before his what?
Before his army.
Before his congregation.
Before his army.
Before his choir.
Before his army.
Before his army. You understand? So the next time they say, man, what y'all be talking about in that school, man, it's true, man, but y'all just too damn militant. What does the Bible say?
And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army.
Before his army. Keep going.
For his camp is very great.
For his camp is very great. You understand? The ISUPK's camp is very great.
Right.
You understand? And our army is mighty. Keep going.
For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible.
But the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. This is something that Christians ask for, but they don't know what they asking for.
That's right.
You understand? Like the Bible say this, I'm paraphrasing. It say that I'm paraphrasing, Salaki. You correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it says something like the day of the Lord is coming. They ask for the day of the Lord, but they know not what they ask of. You understand? Meaning, what is it? When does Christ return? What does that mean for you?
Right.
You understand? Because it's not going to be a good day. You got it? It's not going to be a good day when Christ returns, regardless of what your Christian pastor teach you, man. Because there's a disorder on this earth. We got children dying in Uvalde, Texas, in elementary school. Our children can't even go to elementary school without losing their life. And you think Christ is going to come back and do what? Kiss? You think he's going to come back and hug everybody? It's all pressure is running into Buffalo, New York grocery stores and murdering our people and putting reparations on the side of the gun. What is Christ supposed to do? Just come back and just say, love him too? No. You understand? Christ is going to come back to bring salvation for his people. Salvation is something that is people need salvation, means they need to be saved, man. You understand? And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to be saved.
That's right.
Our relationships need to be saved. Our lives need to be saved because we can't even live here in America.
That's
you
right.
got it?
God. This is the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
It says, woe unto you. Come on now, be real. How many of you have heard of a Christian talking about the day of Christ, Christ's return, God coming back? The Bible, and woe means great destruction. Read it one more time, Bible Kasha.
God, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Woe unto you that desire that. So the next time you hear that pastor or that grandmama or that aunt say, I can't wait for Jesus to return, you pull this. You understand? Woe unto you. Keep going.
God, to what end is it for you?
To what does it mean for you? How much pork have you eaten?
That's right.
You understand? Christ died so that you had a chance to not eat pork. Christ died so that you had a chance to not be a drug dealer. He died so that you had a chance to not sin against the Lord. But yet you still turn around and you say that because of his death, now we can sin? What sense does that make? Seriously, that's a question I've been asking since I've been in the truth. What sense would it make if we were sinning against the Lord? We partying, having all kinds of fun, all kinds of sex, just doing whatever the hell we want to do, to the point where the Lord is fed up with the children of Israel that he sends Christ to, for one, go and teach us, which is the first off-the-wall nonsense that Christians teach. Because what the hell was Christ teaching? He taught the law. He taught them what to do and what not to do. Otherwise, it ain't no need for no teacher. Otherwise, you just let people do whatever the hell they want to do. You understand? And then secondly, Christ died. He gave his life because of the things that we was doing. And now if a brother dies because of something you're doing, then what sense does it make for you to turn around and do the same damn thing? If you got a friend and you were outstanding, brother. You in school, about to go to college, doing your thing, but you got a friend, right? And he a rapper, and you believe in this brother, and he got talent. You think he gonna make it to the top, but one day you chilling on the block with your friend, and he's selling dope, and you telling him, and like, man, why don't you just focus, man? Focus on music. Do what you know. You don't need to be doing this. He like, man. And then one day he get arrested. You understand? The police come knocking in the door. And as the friend who's good, the good friend, you take the drugs and the gun. You say, give it to me. Put it in my pocket. Put it in my bag. You understand? And he looking at you looking at him. You say, now, and you tell him when I go down for this, you better stop doing what you're doing. You better make it in music. You better be the biggest goddamn hip-hop artist that the world has ever seen. How would you feel that after you done got sentenced to 12 years in prison for intent to distribute and move, and now you in prison, and you looking on the news, and then now you see that your same homeboy just got arrested for holding drugs? How would you feel? You gonna come back home and do what? You gonna give kisses? You gonna give candy canes out? Or you gonna come home and you gonna bring some correction? You understand? Well, that's the way that Christ feel, man. Because he didn't die for us to continue dying doing the same things that we was doing. He didn't die for us to continue dying because we selling drugs on the corner. He ain't died for us to continue murdering our babies, man. You understand? He died so that our babies could live. He died so that we could have a chance to change the things that we was doing so that we could live as a nation of people. Otherwise, it ain't no point for us to be here. And that's a question that I ask Christians all the time. I never get an answer. Never get an answer because there isn't one. You understand? And that's why Christ has to come back. And that's why every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian has to be in these classes, learning how to live, man, according to the Bible, because there is no other way. There isn't no other way. And if there is one, bring it to the test. If there's another way, bring it to the class and raise your hand and talk about it. But as far as I know, we tried being Christians for 400 years and it ain't worked. We've tried being Islam since what? The 60s? The 50s? The 60s? Ain't worked. We've tried being Nubianism and going down there in Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever that city was in Georgia, and joining what's that dude named Thabawan? Who had that camp out in Florida, I think. Dr. York. We tried being with Dr. York. We tried following after Polite and Sebek and Heracahudi and things like that. And the things that we've tried to follow has only failed us. Our people are still destroyed. You understand? But this is the only thing that is going to save us. And this is the only thing that has been mistaught to us. And there's a reason for that. You understand? Is there any more on that?
Con. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
It's not light. It's not a good day. You understand? The prophecy says that 2/3 of the nation of Israel shall be cut off forever. You understand? Meaning 2/3 of our people who are God's chosen people, they won't survive. You understand? They will be killed. And that's the prophecy. Now, we work in the ISUBK every day to change it.
That's right.
We pray every day we go to camp that the masses of the people will hear these words and you say, you know what? We want to live. And they'll come in here and then this school would be packed and we'd be like, damn, you understand? We got to go get the Metro Dome, just the whole class, one day out the week. But unfortunately, you understand, the prophecy is as is, and Lord be with you. You understand? Is there any more on that? Any other questions? Any questions online?
No questions online at the moment.
No question. It was a question online, but I lost it. Hey, brother, if you got that question, just type that question one more time, man. I lost it. You said what?
Different.
Yeah. If anybody in the room have any questions, anything they want to say, just raise your hand. You good to go? Time we good. Sis?
If you could.
Hey, so like, did Maya Shaw call? Yeah, did they switch it or what? Or no?
It's not going to hold it his own class.
That's not what I told him to do. No sweat. So we still live in Goldsboro. That's not what I told him to do. Is it gonna stop that one though? So they not even live right now. Yeah, tell them. Come on, man. Yeah, Salaki. Good night. Sis, what you have? I'm sorry, Salaki.
That's okay. So in the Bible it tells us to examine ourselves daily.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need like a backup precept with that. How do we examine ourselves?
No sweat. And your question specifically is one more time. You say your question specifically is how do you examine yourself?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you examine yourself according to what?
To faith.
To faith?
Yeah.
What is your faith?
What is my faith?
How would you examine yourself to faith?
I mean, there is no faith without works.
Right.
So that would go into the law, right?
Exactly.
Doing all the other commandments,
right?
Statutes.
So I think you just answered your own question. You understand?
Yes.
You understand? So the scriptures say, the Bible say this: to be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven. It's a big misconception that a man cannot be perfect. That's a lie. Being the Christian church teaching you that a man cannot be perfect, they tell you that because they absolutely hate you. It doesn't sound like they hate you because we have become weak people. And weak people want what? Pity. You want someone to be pitiful on you. You want sorrowfulness. You don't want someone to tell you you're disgusting. You don't want someone to tell you you're terrible. You want someone to say, it's okay, baby. Yeah, no, I know that you fall short sometime. Everyone falls short. But we become such a weak people that we can't accept correction. When the truth is, you can be perfect, and God wants you to be perfect. Most High Christ, the Lord with them. The Lord is with them. You understand? But you can absolutely be perfect. And I'll give you an example because this is another story I always tell right here at Central. There was a pastor who holds a class here or there at some time. His name is Pastor John Bennett, who was still ducking the debate. It's been about 3 years. Pastor John Bennett, or your knuckleheaded idiot sons or nephews or whoever the hell else I had a conversation with. I'm still waiting on the debate, and stop being, you understand the word I want to use. I'm waiting on the debate that you said that you were so strong, proudly said that you would take, but no sweat. But I went inside of there, and one of my tattoos was showing, right? And a brother came up to me, and I also had a shield on. And an older brother came up to me. He said, I can see you. I see you working with the Lord. I see you working with the Lord. And I was like, yeah, okay, kind. I was younger in the truth at the time. And so eventually he got onto my tattoos. He was like, how many tattoos you got? And I was just like, oh, I don't talk about that, man. I don't like my tattoos. I'm not proud of them. You understand? He was like, why? And I told him, I was like, because I found out in the Bible that getting tattoos was a sin. So I ain't rocking with that. And he was like, and this is a Christian man. He said, yeah, you right. But if you do get any more tattoos, God's still gonna love you. God's still gonna accept you. And now to a weak man, that is comforting. It's comforting to know. God. Most High in Christ. The water. Now to a weak man, it's comforting to know that God will accept you regardless of what you do. Because now you can do anything. You can go sleep with men if you want to. You can do all the drugs in the world, sleep with all the women, celebrate anything you want to celebrate, worship, whatever, because God is going to accept you. But here's the problem. The problem is this. What do you do when someone tells your daughter the same thing when she's smoking crack? When she goes to a person and she says, you know what? I found out that smoking crack is against God. I ain't going to smoke crack no more. And that same man looks at her and says, that's good. You're right. It is against God. But if you smoke crack again, God still accepts you. What does that mean that about that brother to that girl? He hates her. You understand? Because he won't correct her. He won't say, you know what, that's absolutely correct. You understand? God hates people who smokes crack, and you should never smoke crack ever again. Good job. Don't ever do it. You understand? But of course, because of the lifestyle, because of Christianity, we are taught to be so weak and so comforted by lies. Instead of they tell to the seer, see not. You understand? But the truth is that we have to base our life off of these scriptures, off of these law, statutes, and commandments, and that's how you check yourself daily. You understand? If you feel like what you're doing is a sin against the Lord, what do? You come to class and you raise your hand and you'll ask the question, "Hey, Slakia, sir, I did this today. I was feeling like this today. Is this a sin? Should I feel this way about my husband? My husband was playing the game today, and I started thinking that I should go and sleep with another man. Is this a sin?" I'm just giving an example, right? She looking like, I ain't gonna do that. You understand? Most high in Christ. You understand? But you would ask those questions, and that's how you would know. You would keep coming to class, and you would keep just getting your strength by asking those questions. What you got? All right, no sweat. That's an easy question. You said what? Yeah, I know. That's why I'm gonna go to that same scripture. Black men and black women, of course, for one, have been destroyed. They've been destroyed by Christianity. If you go and if you even just read, or not even a biblical aspect, but if you read the letters of Willie Lynch and what Willie Lynch and what they strategically did to black people, it destroyed them. It destroyed our whole aspect of everything of what we were. So now today, where we live in this lifestyle and we think that it's okay to be American, we think it's okay to be Christian, to just live life because we think that white people aren't racist because we're not being hung from trees. For one, it's a selfish feeling to have if you're black. I'm letting you know that right now. It's a selfish feeling because if someone hung you from a tree, you would want your great great grandkids to remember. You would want them to remember the pain that you went through, the suffering that you went through, and you would at least want your generations of children after you to receive some payment before they even thought to sit at the table with the people that hung you. But yet we've received nothing, and even worse than that, we ain't even received the things that they promised us. We ain't even get the 40 acres and a mule, and yet we still forget our great great grandparents. My grandma to this day tells me stories about how she couldn't even ride on the school bus. She had to walk, and they spat on her and threw rocks at her. You understand? Just for her to go get an education. What I'm supposed to do? Turn around and love them? What did they do? Did they give my grandmother a bus? No. Did they give black people in her neighborhood a bus to repay the things that happened to her? No, they didn't. But because of the condition that we in, we have been taught to be good slaves. You understand? Which is why they don't have to hang you no more. They don't have to spit on you anymore. You spit on each other. You look at each other as the bottom filth. You kill each other. So why do they have to kill the coup? If I'm not mistaken, what they call them, what they call them, man? I forgot. I had all the ranking system of the Ku Klux Klan down. It's like the Grandmaster, it's like the Grand Wizard, then it's like the Grand Dragon, then it's like the four. It's something weird. It's like animals, right? It's a bunch of animals that they call themselves. But they would tell you. They tell you that we don't gotta kill niggas no more. They kill them, they kill each other. You understand? Because we've destroyed ourselves, and in destroying ourselves, we destroy our want to even save our condition. And so black people don't want knowledge because black people don't want to change the condition they're in. We don't care. We live in the situations that we live in, and we don't care that we live in the ghetto. We don't care that we murder each other. We don't care that our relationships don't work. You know what we do? Your husband, you not fond of your husband, you know what you do? You just go find another one. You're not fond of that woman that you with, you know what you do? You just go find another one. Ain't no sweat. You throw her to the side and you go get another one because we don't care. You understand? And that is what a broken people have become. You understand? Read what you got and then get me, have we become a homeborn slave?
This is the book of Isaiah,
chapter 30. Can I start at verse 9?
Yeah.
Chapter 30 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
That this is a rebellious people.
That this is a rebellious people. You want to know why black people don't want knowledge? It's because we're rebellious people.
That's right.
We reject it. We reject knowledge. I don't know how many times we told black people that being gay gives you HIV. You're going to get AIDS.
God.
I mean, goddamn. Is it not in the news that the leading world health organization just came out with a statement that said that men who have sex with men should limit the number of partners they have because of monkeypox. Because monkeypox is attacking gay men. The Isupk been teaching that since 1969. Right. You understand? But we've rejected knowledge. We told the Isupk has been teaching that we should not love our oppressor, that we should not celebrate his holidays. And every year we do what? We go celebrate Christmas and what happens as a result? The crime rate goes up. It's not a secret. It's known. You know that this year in 2022, black people are going to die as a response to celebrating Christmas. It's not a secret. They're going to go out and rob and murder and do criminal activity so that they can make money, so that they can make some spoiled brat happy on Christmas. When it's not a holiday for us to be celebrating, and it's designed for us to die and make our oppressor rich. They're going to get rich in Beverly Hills while you go and storm stores and fight with each other and murder each other in a parking lot so that they can become rich. But of course, we don't want the knowledge. We don't want the change. Keep going.
That this is a rebellious people.
Mm-hmm.
Lying children.
Lying children. You lie to yourself. Keep going.
Children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
You won't hear it. Look at the seats. Look at the classroom. Take a peek. Here we are. Ain't nobody singing and dancing and passing the collection. Have we ever passed a collection plate around? No. Maybe we should. Maybe if the collection plate goes around, it will be filled. You go to church. I remember going to church, and I was like 14. I didn't have no money, and I remember feeling like a sickening in my stomach because I didn't have no money to put in the plate, and it was just like when it came past, it was just like, I'm a terrible person. Damn, I don't want to be. I'm 14 though. And passing it past, and that's it. But here we are in a class where you get free knowledge. You can come in here and learn about Antioch. You can come in here and learn about the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You can come in here on Friday and get a Tawab class taught by Officer 1000 Thabawan on the Lashwan Kodash, the ancient Hebrew which is on the walls. You understand? One of the oldest, if I'm not mistaken, the eldest language known to man, the absolute oldest language. You can come and learn it for absolutely free. For free. You understand? You can learn about who King David was, what the Jacobite revolution was. You can learn about all the rebellions in the Bible. You can learn about the King Nebuchadnezzar and what he did. You can learn about where the hell came from and Dante's Inferno and his diaries and his poems. You can learn about all of these things by just raising your hand and say, where the hell did hell come from? Why do people think heaven is in the sky? You can ask all these questions for free, but yet all people reject the knowledge. Right. They don't want to know because it's comfortable living in the place that they are. You understand? How many of y'all ever seen the movie Django? You seen the movie Django, right? Or really a good one. And if you ain't seen this one, you need to go watch it. But The Birth of a Nation, the new one. You understand? That's that boy right at the end who turned on that Turner. That's your Christian today. That's it. The only difference between then and now is that the majority of them was against Christianity, which is why when Nat Turner was reading the Bible, he started reading that the scriptures that they were teaching him to read, it won't matching up. Because at nighttime, Nat Turner would go into them caves and he would put that headband on, which is in the Bible. He would cover his head and he would start to read these scriptures. And him and a few other men, and they started to realize that God's chosen people were black. And that the devil was the oppressor that had them as slaves. They read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. That's right. And they seen that their people was taken into slavery, mass cargo slave ship, which is why Nat Turner did what he did. You understand? Not saying that what he did was correct. You understand? Because our judgment comes from the Lord, but he did it for a reason. But after then, black people got destroyed to the point where now the majority of us are Christian. You have something?
I got a precept to go with this.
Con, you want to finish that one or go to the next one first?
I mean, we can finish this and then jump to.
Con, let's go.
Con.
Children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
You won't hear the law of the Lord because it's too hard. It's too hard to hear that you can't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. It's too rough. It's too hard to hear that you got to live a lifestyle that is perfect. That sounds terrible. It sounds hard for someone who doesn't love the Lord. You understand? But for someone who does love the Lord, for someone who does love their family, it's not hard at all. You understand? You want your family to be in order, then you'll come in the Isupk and you'll start following these laws. Simple. Done. You understand? You seeing men that do it. You seeing sisters that do it every single day of their life. Keep going.
Verse 10, which say to the seers.
Which say to the seers. These are Christians who say to the seers, keep going.
See not.
Don't look at what I do. Don't worry about what I do. You understand? They go in a Christian church. They don't want the pastor to call them out for the wickedness that they do. They don't want the pastor to start calling out JJ or Ray J or Day Day or Daquan because they Crips and they killing each other. They don't want the pastor to start calling out Shaquem because he's half a gay man. I can say that, right? They don't want to start calling out Shaniqua because she done had sex with every man in the goddamn front row. They don't want that. They say to the seers, see not. I put my money in a collection plate. Don't look at what I do. Don't look at how I treat my family. Don't look at how I treat my wife or how I treat my husband or how I raise my children or how I don't raise my children. Don't look at the things I do. Keep going.
And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things.
And they come to the prophets and they say, don't tell us right things because it's too hard to hear. Don't tell me that I can't celebrate Christmas no more. I've been celebrating Christmas my whole life. You understand? Don't tell me I can't celebrate Halloween and Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is about the slaughter of Native American Indians, which are our brothers. Don't tell me that because I love to eat turkey so damn much. Eating turkey on Thanksgiving is so important to you that you can't just wait a week. You can't just wait a week, buy the turkey, and wait a week to cook it. You got to cook it on that day so that you can celebrate the slaughter of your brothers. Keep going.
Salakia.
Prophesy not unto...
You laugh, sis. When you had that turkey this year, you getting ready for it. No sweat. Come on.
Prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things.
Speak smooth things, man. What's smooth things? Prosperity. Oh, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? The law is done away with.
The law is done away with. You don't gotta follow the law, sis. Sis, you gotta. Sis, you married. You gotta. I was good. No sweat. You got a problem with your husband? No sweat, sis. Y'all unequally yoked. You can leave him, sis. Matter of fact, why don't you bake up some of that spaghetti and bring it back to my spot a little bit later, sis, and I'll do a reading on you from God. You understand? And to her, that sounds good because she came to the pastor because of what? Because her spirit was conflicted. She came to him knowing that there was a problem in her relationship, and she knew that something in her told her, I can't just leave him because that's wrong. But she goes to the Christian pastor and he tells her, you unequally yoked. Just leave him. You understand? And that's a smooth thing to her. And now he opens up the door for her to go be a whore. He opens up the door for her to just be a wicked bastard. You understand? Against her husband. And that's what we'd rather be. We'd rather be told what prosperity preaching, that what? You come in here and you spend your tithing money and you give donations, and in 3 months I see a great blessing. I see a great blessing coming to you, and you keep staying strong, sis, and you keep coming to the church of First Apostolistic of God, and you're going to have blessings rain down on you from the stars of heaven up above. You understand? We'd rather hear those things because it's easy to hear, but it's not true. There's nowhere in the Bible where the Lord said that you're going to have blessings rain down on you from up above. There's nowhere in the Bible where it says that you could leave your man. You understand? You have sex with a man, that is the man that you lay with for the rest of your life. Done. You understand? Unless he commit adultery, or fornication, which is to have sex with another man's wife, or to sleep with like a dog or something, which I hope you understand that no brother, I hope no sister go through that. Good night. You understand? But this is what black people, this is what all people have come down to. You understand? Hey, Shalom, man. This brother coming here looking like a straight soldier. Most High in Christ. You ready to read? You got a sword? Come on, come grab you a sword. Two mighty men coming into the building. Salaki, 1 second. Let me get to the scripture. If anybody in the room who just walked in, if y'all need water, y'all can grab it. If y'all got any questions, just raise your hand. It's like how one you want. Okay. Sorry, Taban. What was we at? That's at 30. If I could.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Speak unto us smooth things.
Uh-huh.
Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy deceits, man. Prophesy to us something that's not true. It's a lie. You understand? It's a lie that what our Christian pastors teach us. And that lie is what has been the greatest destruction to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You understand? The reason that your family is the way that it is because of your Christian pastor.
That's right.
That's the reason. The reason why your aunts and uncles cannot love each other is because of your Christian pastor. The reason why their marriages do not work. The reason why your mother has been so terrible or your father was not in your life, it's because of your Christian pastor, man. The reason he's an alcoholic or a drug addict or your mother sold you for a can of beans is because of your Christian pastor, because they told them lies. They told them that it was okay to live the way that you live. They told them, YOLO, you only live once, so you better have fun while you're here, when that is a lie, when the Bible does not teach that. You understand? The Bible teaches us that every day that we on earth, we have to be perfect, and we have no other choice. Like the sister said, the Bible says that you got to check yourself every single day. Everything that you do, you got to check yourself, to the point where you in a grocery store and you trying to find cereal, and you in the cereal aisle, your children like, come on, let's get to the snacks, and you sitting there reading the instructions. I mean the ingredients, and you like, I gotta make sure that this don't have no monodiglyceride in it. I gotta make sure that this don't have no whatever in it that might be pork. And if I don't know what something is, I gotta type it in my Google device and figure out what the hell this ingredient is. You understand? Because you gotta check yourself on the things that you'll do. And here's the beauty in that. Here's the beauty in a sister that'll do that. A sister that'll stand there for 5 minutes trying to Google what the hell a monodiglyceride is a sister who won't go to the club and sleep with another man on you.
Right.
You understand? She's so diligent in the fact that she won't even think to eat some cereal that may even have a portion of pork in it. She won't even fathom the idea of going to the club and sleeping with some other man. It won't even occur to her to do something as nasty and disgusting as that. It won't happen. You understand? Which is why the women in the Isupk are so beautiful, man. They are the best women on the face of the planet Earth, man. You understand? I feel sorry for brothers in the world who can never experience being with a woman that follows the Lord, man, in the Isupk, because it's such a terrible thing to have to go through. It's such a terrible thing to have to deal with the pains that come with a woman who is a Christian, man, because they have no morals. There is no law for them. If they're done with you, they do what? Go sleep with Day and Daquan. When at an Isupk, we don't live that way. General Hyman always breaks down our relationship. Don't let me go off topic too much, right? But this is one point I want to bring out, because it's a heavy point. General Hyman always breaks out this. Well, he did bring out this example, and I love this example that he always gives, or this metaphor of relationships in the UPK. Now, of course, it's not a sin to date or to marry outside of the Isupk. If you want to court someone outside of the Isupk, male or female. You understand? If you're a male, you want to court a female. If you're a female, want to date a male. It's not a sin. You could date whoever you want as long as they're Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. What is a sin is after you have sex, if you sleep with someone else, if you're a woman, that is adultery according to the Bible. But he always says this about relationships because, of course, growing up, we always seen relationships as something that was a pleasure and then it ends. That's it. It's almost as if, like, when you get into that first relationship, it's like the butterflies, right? You get the butterfly effect. Your stomach is, you get sick to your stomach about it. You know, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. The man that you got, you just want to hold his fingernail if you can. You just want to be around him. You want to play with his earlobe. But then it's like a timeline in a relationship. And the first point of the timeline is like the first argument. After the first argument, you know that it's the time is clicking. And it's not going to last forever. And then eventually it's like their first mini breakup. Then you get back together. Then it's like the second one to the point where she sleeping with somebody else. That can't happen in ISUPK. And our relationships are like this. If you had two cars, right, two vehicles, these vehicles represent relationships. One is in the ISUPK, one is in the truth, and one is in the world. In both vehicles, they're both messed up. The tires need to be changed. The oil need to be changed. The alternator need to be replaced. The window regulators is jammed. The engine is smoking every time you turn it on. You understand? It's making weird noises. In both vehicles, they both are messed up. They are terrible, terrible cars. But in the relationship that's in the world, it has a button. And if you press the button, you can get out the car. You can go and get a new car. Or go and get a bike. Or walk. Or don't get nothing else. You can just get out the car and just be by yourself and just walk or whatever, you understand? But the relationship and the truth doesn't come with that button. So what does that mean for that car? Because that button is not in there. What does it mean for that car? What must that car do? I want to take a shot. This is a hard concept for Black people to understand. It's a terrible, hard concept to understand. Sis? She's correct. Give her a hand. You get it fixed. Yeah. But even before you get it fixed, what must the car do? Getting it fixed is a solution to the problems, right? You say what? That car it's going to definitely break down. But there ain't no button. You can't get out of it. So what must that car do? It only has one option. It has to make it from point A to point B. Somehow. Some way. Whether you go seek counseling. Whether you seek therapy. What if you crazy behind who beats on your woman has to get on pills and medications to put you asleep before 8 o'clock so that you don't beat her to death? Or maybe she needs counseling. Maybe she needs friends. Maybe you need to go to camp more so that you're just out the damn house and not playing video games all day. But regardless of whatever you do, whether you fix it or not, you have no choice but to make it from point A to point B. And that's it. And that's relationships in the ISUPK. You understand? And that's how we live our life. You ask the question, how do you check yourself? You're going to have to check yourself a lot, especially if you're in a relationship. You're going to have to check your thoughts. You're going to have to check your spirit. You're going to have to make sure the things that you are thinking are not demons, because demons are going to want to do what? They're going to want to ruin your relationship. You understand? That thing that says, you know what, I'm done with her. I'm done. I don't want to be with her no more. That's a demon. That's a demon that is going to keep the children of Israel destroyed, because now your children are going to grow up what? With two parents, separated. You understand? When we should be doing what? Not being selfish. You understand? Maybe at some point we should choose the children rather than ourselves. Maybe at some point we should say, well, you know what? There was something about you that I liked. Maybe I'll just think about that. You understand? And we'll choose to raise our children together. And our grandparents used to do it very well. I know my great-grandparents. You ask any of them old folk who've been in relationships for damn near 60, 50-something years at this point, and you ask them, was your relationship perfect? Hell no. Nope. They say your great-granddad was a player. He was out there smoking cocaine. He's smoking. Damn, grandma, I thought he was gonna say that he stayed out all night. Nah, he smoked crack, nigga. Like, damn. Well, how did it work? You had to forgive him. You understand? But that's something that over time we've lost. And we stopped hearing the truth. We stopped listening to the people who came before us that taught us you're going to have to learn how to compromise. You're going to have to learn how to forgive one another. You're going to have to learn how to correct your woman. You understand? We used to live in a place where a man would tell you, hey, you're going to have to, select your sisters. You're going to have to tell that woman to shut her damn mouth. You're going to have to tell her. Yeah, and she going to do it. You understand? And a woman going to have to learn to allow her husband to lead her. But of course, we've changed. Now the woman want to lead. She want to be the city girls and out at the club all night and tell the husband what to do. And it's made us backwards, which is why our children grow up in the way that we do. And it's all because we followed Christianity. Because your pastor told you it's okay. You understand? Is there any more on that? You got another one? You had a piece of it. You can pull it out. Again, anybody got any questions, whether it's on topic or off, just pull it.
It's just because you had mentioned, you know what I'm saying, the lack of, like, you know, rejecting, because the brother's question about rejecting knowledge. So precept in Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Yeah, that's simple enough. We destroy it for a lack of knowledge. You understand? Like it's so much for us to just come into these classes and just learn how to live again. You won't see it, you understand? But that's why we're destroyed, because being in the Christian church is just too easy. You understand? And we become a selfish people. Is another one I asked for? Give me 2 Maccabees, man. I gotta get the woman, you understand, real quick. You want to use the phone? You can use my phone real quick. Oh, she can. Most High in Christ. I was about to say, get that sister. You brought that? Most High in Christ. You understand? That sister came prepared. No, I got you, man. Go ahead.
Which chapter?
Second. Good night. 2 Maccabees chapter. It's losing me. The woman, her 7 sons. Can somebody pull it?
One?
You can start it. We're gonna skip through it, so you're gonna have to kind of roll with me. I don't want to stay too much on it, but I want to get the point.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken.
Now, this is the point of my topic tonight. Is that you can help the sis find it? 2 Maccabees chapter 7, right?
2 Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 1.
Now, this is the point of my topic tonight, which is following the law. You understand? This is, of course, the Brotherhood class, but Brotherhood ties into following this law, meaning coming into these classes and figuring out how we should live, what we should eat, what can we eat, who we should sleep with, who can't we sleep with, what we should celebrate, what we shouldn't celebrate. That is a brotherhood. It's brotherhood in itself, because that is what is going to fix our community, man. You understand? Like, Christians are waiting for the kingdom of heaven as if Christ is going to bring the kingdom of heaven down from the sky and it's just going to land here in Durham, North Carolina. That's nonsense. You understand? It's a fairy tale, it's mystical, and it's a damn lie. You understand? Christ said that the kingdom of heaven is within you, meaning you have to build it. That's why when you in this classroom, you are witnessing the kingdom of heaven. You're seeing it. Now, you can leave out of here today and you can say, you know what, I seen what the kingdom of heaven will look like. Your parents gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? And then you'll say, I seen men who devoted their time to teach men not to sell drugs. I seen men who were brothers who would not sleep with each other's woman. I seen men who don't sell drugs, who don't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster, who don't celebrate Christmas, who don't sleep with white women. I've seen sisters who don't whore on their husbands, who wouldn't dream of being on some stripper pole, who wouldn't dream of smoking weed or cigarettes or hookah pens or whatever. You understand? And people who don't lie to each other and don't steal from each other and don't harm one another. A place where I could bring my children in and let them roam free and no one would touch them. No one would molest my children. You understand? I seen what the kingdom of heaven look like. And it ain't in no church. Please don't go in a church trying to let your children roam free. Good night. You understand? Don't do it. Read what you got.
Come. It came to pass also
Uh-huh.
that 7 brethren with their mother were taken.
Now, this is a story. Now, this is history, right? Now, this is something that was happening during the time of, was this King Darius or was it?
No, the Maccabees should be the Greeks.
The Greeks. I forget the king's name. I think he'll say it.
Ahasuerus?
It may have been Ahasuerus, right? But this is actual history. This happened, you understand, to us, to our people all the time. If you sure this ain't Darius?
Positive.
You positive. All right, no sweat. But this is actual history, and this is what our people did. This is what we should be, remembering from our ancestors. Keep going.
God. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh.
So now these are Jews, right? If you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, this is talking about us because we followed the laws of God. And of course, the law of God is to not eat pork. And they knew this, just like they know it today. The difference is today is what? They don't got to force you to eat pork. You'll do it willingly. But we knew back then that we couldn't because it was against our law. So the king at the time, the king of Greece at the time, took the mother and her 7 sons and compelled them to eat the pork, meaning tried to just persuade them. Just to say, you know what, man, why don't you eat pork? Just eat it. It's good. I got barbecue sauce and I sauteed it up. I got some spinach on the side. You can eat it with that. Even got some fruit punch for you. It's Thanksgiving. Eat that ham. I always get messed up on that word. What is it? Ham hock? Is that what it is? Ham hock. Eat the ham hock. That's what they put the pineapple on it, right?
No, that's just
whatever, man. I don't know. Anyway, he compelled them to eat it, right? Keep going. This is a terrible story, by the way, Salaki.
And were tormented with scourges and whips.
And so because they wouldn't eat it, they were tormented with scourges and whips. And so this is the point of the topic. But sis, I also want you to remember your question, right? So now they were tormented with scourges and whips. Keep going.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us?
So this is the first son. He said, now imagine these are 7 sons, 7 brothers, and they with their mother. Imagine you with your brothers and you with your mom, right? And now the first son is saying, you understand, what is that? What do you want to learn from us? Like, what's the point? Keep going.
We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our father.
He said, we ready to die rather than to transgress the law of our father. We rather die. I'd rather die than to eat your pork. I'd rather die than to celebrate your Christmas, than to sell drugs to my brother, than to sleep with some whore. I'd rather die. Keep going.
Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot.
And so now he got pans and cauldrons. A pan is like a frying pan, but these pans were big. And a cauldron is like, if you ever seen like a witch brewing a stew, right? Keep going.
Come. Verse 4, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first.
And so he punished the first brother who spoke. You understand? Keep going.
And to cut off the utmost parts of his body. The rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
And so now the rest of the mother is looking at this brother being tormented. Now this is something that they did back then, but where else did they do this kind of mutilation at? In current history. Where else was the same tactic used? Anybody know? I want to take a shot. I might want to take a guess. Where else did they do the same kind of thing? Got it? Yeah. Slavery. They buck broke you. They took the strongest man, the one who would speak out, Nat Turner. right? And they tormented him. They turned that Turner's what was his skin into wagon grease? You understand? Turned his what? Yeah, turned his skin into wallets, turned his testicles and then pickled them, kept them in jars as ornaments and things like that, just to keep in the house. They did this thing so that the rest of you will look at the strong men among you who didn't submit to what your master said to do, and then you would submit because you didn't want that to go through you. But these brothers were better than you. These brothers were better than all of you, every Christian you've ever known. You understand? And they watched their brother get tormented and put inside of a goddamn cauldron. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 5. Now, when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought forth to the fire and to be fried in the pan.
And they fried that brother in the pan, man. This ain't no joke. This there's a lot of parables in the Bible, a lot of metaphors. This isn't a metaphor. This is something that Greco-Roman culture is known for. They're known for devising wicked, tormentive things. If you go and read in the books of all the tormentous devices, a lot of them come from this era. When they would hang you from your head, I forget what it's called, the head and the hands, that came from this era. The guillotine, it came from this era. You understand? Because they would just think of ways just to torment people because our oppressor is incapable of being diplomatic. He's a monster, and he's always been a monster. And all he's ever known is to kill and murder and mutilate you. And they did this to us. Keep going.
Salakia. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully.
And so they started talking amongst each other and say, we're gonna die. We're gonna die manfully. You understand? Our brother just died. We're gonna join him. Now keep this in mind. Because now you sitting amongst brothers in the truth who won't turn and sell drugs.
That's right.
You sitting amongst sisters in the truth who won't turn and be whores on their husbands.
That's right.
You sitting amongst people who won't turn amongst the Lord. And these are your brothers. These are your sisters. These are your mothers and your fathers. And here we are. And you sitting here with them. And the king of this place wants you to eat pork. They want you to leave out this room and go celebrate Christmas. They want you to leave out this room and go whore on your husband. Get on some stripper pole. That's what they want you to do. Get on Bad Girls Club. You understand? Keep going.
Slakia, saying thus, verse 6, the Lord God looketh upon us, and in truth hath comforted us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants. So when, verse 7, so when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? But he answered in his own language and said, no.
He said, la'ah. He answered in the Lashwan Kodash to a bunch of Greeks. And he said, la'ah. You understand? He ain't going to eat it. He ain't going to do what they tell him to do. He ain't going to live the life that they want him to live. He ain't going to sell the drugs that they want him to sell. He ain't going to be a Christian that they want him to be. You understand? And he decided to not do what they want him to do. And he decided to just accept death. You understand? Keep going. Drop down the verse. Just get me down somewhere closer to the beginning. I just want to get to the last son. Now, for the sake of the story, all of these sons went through the same thing, and they went through each one. And each son went through something different, whether they cut off the utmost members of his body, which could have been his rod, could have been his ears, his hands, his feet. You understand? They scalped him. They put him in a boiling cauldron and watched him get boiled to death. They put him in a frying pan and let him get fried to death while everyone watching, including the mother, you understand, who usually is weaker, right? But give me to the mother. Is it this last son or the mother who comes first? Yeah, give me to the mother.
Verse 20. But the mother was marvelous above all.
But she was marvelous. This mother wasn't like the mothers we had. She wasn't. She was marvelous. You understand? She didn't fall for what um Willie Lynch put on black people. You understand? If you read Willie Lynch, it said that to take the strong man out of the group and buck break him, and in turn, it'll make the woman who was naturally dependent on her man to be independent, which is why we got independent women now. And it'll make the man who was naturally independent dependent on his woman. You understand? And they reversed the roles. And she started to raise her sons up to be weak because she was in fear that her sons would grow up and be like their father and die like their father, which is why our mothers don't teach us to be strong no more. They taught us, you better say yes to massa. You better do what the master say because I'm not losing you. I lost your daddy. I'm not losing you. You understand? And it taught the woman to be overly aggressive, to be in front, because the woman had to step up in front in them times because we were being buck broken in the back. But the problem is that after our slavery, it never stopped. Our women stayed in the front. They never went back into the dependency of a man. They stayed in the independent state, which meant that what Willie Lynch had did worked. But this woman, she was marvelous. It didn't work on her. You understand? Keep going.
And worthy of honorable memory.
Mm-hmm.
For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day.
She's worthy in Salaga. We can never forget that part. She's worthy of honorable memory, man. You remembering Santa Claus and I don't even know. I forgot all the holidays, man. You remembering George Washington. You remembering Abraham Lincoln. You better remember her. That's right. You better remember this black woman because she's worthy of it, man. Honorable memory because of what she did. Keep going.
She bare it with a good courage because of the hope that she had in the Most High. Verse 21. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language.
She exhorted every one of them in their own language. She looked at them and said, Barakatah Yahweh wa Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
You understand?
Damn right.
And she exhorted them in her own language. Keep going.
Filled with courageous spirits.
And
stirring up her womanish thoughts.
She stirred up her womanish thoughts because a woman naturally would say what? Baby, please just eat the pork. Why? Because as a woman, you don't want to see your son die. That's a hard thing to bear. That's hard for a woman. It's you watching something that literally was a part of you for 9 months die. And it's almost like watching a part of you die, and it's hard to bear. But this woman was marvelous. Keep going.
Slakia, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach.
She took a manly stomach. Keep going.
She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life. Neither was it I that formed you, Slakia, that formed the members of every one of you. Verse 23. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again.
Man, that woman said, I don't even know how y'all got here. You understand? It's a blessing that y'all here. I don't know how y'all here, but through the faith and the glory of the Most High, you will come back. You understand? You'll be back again because that's what we believe and that's what the Lord told us. You understand? And so they died manfully. And now let me get the last son and we're going to get up.
So like this kind of leads into it.
Go ahead. Let's go.
I'm going to read it fast. As ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake.
Good night. You regard not your own selves for his law's sake. Now remember, you sitting amongst brothers of your own. But what will you regard? You understand? Is Christmas just is the lights for Christmas? That's just so much for you. It's so much. It's so joyful for you that you can't give it up even for your own brothers, for your own sisters. You understand? But these brothers, they gave it up. You understand? For the regard of the Most High. Keep going.
Verse 24. Now Antiochus.
That's who it was, Antiochus.
thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive.
Now the youngest son. Now here we go. The youngest boy. He young. You understand? Read what you got.
Did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and a happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs. Verse 20.
Meaning he gonna give him position. Right. Meaning if you turn against God, you understand, I'm gonna put you high. I'm gonna give you position in this kingdom. Like who? Who can you guess? Your Christian pastor took this job. Your Christian pastor decided that he was going to teach you to go against your God so that he can live in his oppressor's kingdom. And he can have position. And he got money. He got rich. And he drives a Rolls Royce and a Bentley while you stay poor. You understand? And he pacifies you, which is what a pastor is. Of course, and don't let me get off too long, Tabawan. But of course, in slavery time, we wanted to rebel. We wanted to get off the plantation and fight and get back to our home. But of course, and which is why Willie Lynch had to come up, because Willie Lynch was from the West Indies. He was from the islands. And of course, on the island, if slaves start to rebel on the island, you're in trouble, because you can't just get help from Virginia. Right. You on a goddamn island. It's gonna take some time for the army to come out there across the ocean. So they had to use harsh tactics in the island. You understand? Which is probably why them Benjamites are so goddamn rough. Right. You understand? Because they had to, go ahead, sis. Yeah, they was doing all kinds of wicked things to them Benjamites out there because they were on an island, and they wanted to make sure that they stayed calm. But they knew up here that it wasn't going to work forever, and so they came up with a new tactic, and they started pulling brothers, and they say, we'll give you position, we'll teach you how to read, but read this. Officer Tabawan did a tremendous lecture on this, man. If it's something you want to bring out specific about that, you can. About the slave Bible and what they was teaching us to read. I think it was what books did they take, or what books did they leave in? It was like
it was practically no Old Testament at all.
Right.
And they took out about half of the New Testament as well. So some people think that, oh no, the New Testament was all, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where the Christianity, no, even they had to take books out of the New Testament too, because they figured if they read this, it's gonna look a certain way. This was after Nat Turner.
Right.
Nat Turner really affected the country. Like that, people don't realize how infamous that Nat Turner thing was.
Right.
So that news spread all up through America, West Indies, all of that. And that was one of the responses, like, yo, like when they read this book, they tend to do this, rebel.
Right.
So we have to cut it up or something to make sure that they're not reading the same parts that Nat Turner was reading.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it is way more to it. But that's one of the tactics that they did.
Right. And so they took the parts of the Bible out, and they used brothers to become pacifiers to the people, meaning serve your masters as you would unto the Lord. And because it was a black face that was telling you this, you trusted him. Just like you trusted Martin Luther King. Just like you trusted Al Sharpton or T.D. Jakes or Creflo Dollar. What you don't understand is that they are getting paid to live a life while murdering you. They get you killed. They get you hooked on drugs. And at the same time, they get rich, which is why in any depression, any recession, any time in history that you've ever could look up or do historic research on, there's two things that never fail to stay afloat: religion and drug dealers. It's the only two things. It don't matter how deep in a depression we get or a recession we get, drug dealers gonna get paid, and your Christian pastor gonna get paid too. You understand? Back to where we was at, Salakia. But this is what they did. They set up pacifiers over us so that they could murder us. And this is what Antiochus is offering to the youngest son. Keep going.
Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
And so the young man said, nah, the hell with that. Keep your pastorship, man. You understand? I'm going to be a Hebrew Israelite with my brothers. I'm going to be in here and just, go to the Passover with my niggas while you go and, do whatever. So of course he went to the mother because he thinks the mother is weak. He tells the mother, why don't you know, you got to save your son. You got to save your son, which is what they always do. I mean, if you ever played football or if you ever seen, you know, any movie of football players who make it to go D1, where they go? Your mother.
Right.
They go to your mom because your mom is weak. Because they know if they say, we're going to treat him like he's the greatest son that he needs to be.
Right.
And we're going to give him this, and his mattress is going to be comfortable so his neck ain't going to hurt. They know your mom is weak, and she's going to say, oh, that's all I ever want. That's, baby, you need to go here. You need to go play football here because no, I just believe I like that coach. I like him.
Right.
I trust him. I trust, you know, like, Mom, no, man, I want to go to FAMU. No, baby, no. They don't have the beds that's going to keep your neck safe. So you need to go here. You understand? And then they push you to go to some college that you really don't want to go to. Right. But because he knew that the mother was weaker, which is her natural state, it's fine. You understand? But, you know, seek counsel. But keep going. Salakia.
Salakia, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. Verse 26. And when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son.
So she said, you know what? I'm going to tell him to go to your school. Don't worry. I got you. I got you. Come on.
Verse 27.
This is my favorite part right here.
But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. Salakia, verse 28. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren.
Be good night, man. That mother looked at her son and laughed at her oppressor and said, don't fear this tormentor. Don't fear your oppressor, but rather take thy death so that you can be worthy of your brethren. Be worthy of them because of the sacrifice that they made, because of what they gave up, because of what they didn't do. Be worthy of them. Don't give a damn about Donald Trump. Don't give a damn about your school teacher, your college professor, your basketball coach, your agent. You understand? Don't give a damn about your social worker or whatever the hell else going in there trying to be some super Christian. Don't give a damn about your pastor. But give a damn about the people around you who are willing to die for you. You understand? Give a damn about them, because these are the only men on earth who would die for you, your brothers and your sisters. And that's who you should be referenced by, not your oppressor, not them Christians in the church who hate you anyway. You understand? Who don't know what it means to have brotherhood, who don't know what it means to love their people, because they're being taught by a man who is commissioned by a people who want your people to die. You understand? Is there any more on that?
Just one little piece.
Go ahead.
Verse 30. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
Most High in Christ. That's it. That's all he had to say. He ain't gonna obey the king's commandments, but he gonna obey these laws, man. And now, you looking at the brothers around you, and what would you do? Who would you choose to serve? Yourself? Or would you choose to serve the brothers that's around you? You understand? And that's what we all have to question. And like the sis said, that's what you got to check yourself on every single day. What are we doing here on this earth, and who are we serving? Because regardless of how independent you think you are, you serve someone. You serve something. You understand? There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. You serve something. If you're a drug addict and you sleep underneath a bridge, you serve someone. If you're a drug dealer and you sell the drugs to that drug addict, then you serve someone. And if you're a righteous brother in ISUBK, then you also serve someone. You understand? But the difference is who do you love your people or do you not? Simple as that. You understand? What time? Time check. 9:13. With that, we'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer Tabawan. The water.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. I believe the upcoming Holy Convocation will be the memorial blowing of the trumpets. That should be going down September 25th. If you're in the North Carolina area, we are holding it at the Fayetteville School. So more information on that will come out, you know what I'm saying, in the coming weeks. So make sure, you stay tuned for that. Want to remind Akim and Akwati to check on social media, such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, imadyum, which means to stand. Wapunya Kwadum, which means turn and face the east. We're going to close out with the Lord's Prayer. We're going to start out in Hebrew. Albanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Tawa'ah, Ratazai Ka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lakum, Sakikau, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kalbwath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kalbwath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabia Nawa, Bonasai 1, Abo, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wataparith, La Walumium, Amun.
In the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Sar, which means to turn. Sisters, Yashab, which means to be seated. Men of Israel, Sar, turn to face the teacher. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat, Imadim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Ha'ashah Barakatah. Yadim Matah, hands down. Sar, turn to face the sisters. Sisters, Imadim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imadim Shabbat, Imadim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatah Ba'ashim Ha'ashah. And the first thing we said was to the teacher, we said, Yahweh Ba'ashim Ha'ashah Barakatah. For the brothers, that means the Most High bless you in the name of Christ. And for the sisters, we say Yahweh Shamar. So repeat after me, sis, if you could. I know you knew. Yahweh, Shamar, Al, Atha, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai.
which means the Most High, may the Most High watch over you in the name of Christ. All right. Yadi Matah, which means hands down. Class dismissed.